Good evening. I call the Maplewood City Council meeting to order on Tuesday, January 11, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please conduct roll call so we can ascertain quorum, if we have a quorum?
Yes. Councilmember Crossley?
Here.
Councilmember Falkingham?
Here.
Mayor Knapper?
Here.
Councilmember Page?
Here.
Councilmember Phillips?
Here.
Councilmember Schmidt?
Here.
Councilmember Wood?
Here.
Madam Mayor, a quorum is present.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 5. Oh, excuse me. I skipped over item number 4 because we do not need to excuse anyone. Madam Clerk, item number 5.
City Attorney statement.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to ask that the minutes of this meeting reflect that pursuant to section 610.015 of the Missouri Sunshine Law, an emergency still exists the council has recognized that an emergency still exists due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and therefore all votes that are taken this evening are proper, even though council is not within council chambers. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 6.
Approval of the council agenda.
May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the council agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That motion passes and carries. All right. Madam Clerk, item number 7.
Public forum.
At this time, if anyone that is attending would like to provide a comment, you are welcome to do so. Please raise the Zoom hand and then Mr. Reese will call upon you.
Mayor Knapper, there are no raised hands.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 8.
Announcement.
I do have one announcement. Just a reminder about the Sweet Tooth Tour. That's January 22nd. There's tickets are still available. They're $21, and it runs from noon till 5 on the 22nd. Ticket sales do end Thursday, January the 20th at 11:59 p.m. So just a reminder.
All right. Hearing no other announcements, Madam Clerk, item number 9.
Approval of the December 14th, 2021 City Council meeting minutes.
May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the December 14th, 2021 City Council meeting minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item number 10.
Bill 6177, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Maplewood, Missouri, amending Chapter 30, Human Relations, Sections 30-19 through 30-23, and Section 30-27 to prohibit discrimination based upon source of income.
That was the first reading. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Madam Clerk, second reading, please.
Bill 6177, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Maplewood, Missouri, amending Chapter 30, Human Relations, Sections 30-19 through 30-23, and Section 30-27 to prohibit discrimination based upon source of income.
That was the second reading. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. The third and final reading will take place at the next council meeting. Madam Clerk, item number 11.
Is a discussion of Crown Act.
Thank you. So the Crown Act, give me just a moment because I want to make sure I'm telling you properly. So the Crown Act stands for Create a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. This Crown Act is important to me and other women of color that style their hair in a cultural way. So a cultural way would be an afro, twist, locks, any style that you see. So right now, we have federal legislators that are trying to create this Crown Act. And of course, just like the Voting Rights Act that they're trying to get through, it's not going anywhere. So we have to depend upon ourselves in our communities to do what is right. And so I propose this to you all after discussing this with Mr. Reese, because this would affect employees that are in City Hall. So this does not go outside of Mr. Reese's purview. So this would not affect like our small businesses, any business really outside of the city of Maplewood. But this ordinance would basically say it is illegal to discriminate against someone that wears their hair pursuant to their culture. I know you all have seen my natural hair. You know, I got it up right now, but you've seen the afro, you've seen the twist, you've seen the braids. And I just want to make sure that people who are looking to either relocate to Maplewood or who are looking to work in Maplewood understand that our community cares about who you are and you do not have to code switch to have a job with the Maplewood, the city of Maplewood. So that's the reason why I proposed it. And I'll pass it to Mr. Reese because like I said, this is in his purview, so it affects his employees, but that's why I wanted to talk with you all about it. And I hope I have your support.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This is something I fully support, ensuring protection against discrimination based on race-based hairstyles. So I fully support it 100%. And if the council wishes, can work with City Attorney Graves to come up with the appropriate language for consideration at the next meeting.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm embarrassed to admit I had to Google this and understand it myself. So if nothing else, a little education is always a good thing. So I'm
Yeah,
very
I
proud.
had to look it up as well because I wanted to understand. So
I don't have much hair left, so I don't really pay attention to hair very often.
True.
Well, I appreciate y'all doing that, looking it up. Thank you.
yeah.
I was going to say there is also, for those that are interested, there's a petition on the website, thecrownact.com.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Madam Clerk, item number 12.
Is old business ordinance review committee.
Mr. Reese, I will request that you lead us in this discussion.
Yes. One thing I wanted to just say up front and get some reaction from council is I've talked with the mayor and our city attorney about this issue and want to kind of share my view with the entire council. I am concerned, somewhat concerned with the potential time and cost of using our city attorney in this process, this ordinance review committee process. We're seeing rising legal bills. Our special counsel spending is up considerably from this time last year compared to this year. And so what I would just offer as an alternative is that the council continue your work with the ordinance review committees. I'm not saying to stop, but continue your work to really use City Attorney Graves sparingly and strategically. And then I think in our upcoming budget process, we could perhaps look to bring out a consultant who specializes in municipal code changes and compliance with state law. And this might be a more efficient way to approach this, a more cost-effective way, where we hire a firm for a set price. So I just kind of wanted to bring that issue up, and I think City Attorney Graves has a view on this as well, if you want to comment on what I just said.
Oh, sure, yes. Thank you, Michael. And I think this was suggested by you and Mayor Knapper as just something that might help the city's budget. And I had a conversation with John Hessel, who you all know, who also serves as the city attorney position, to talk about what they did in the city of Kirkwood when they recently rewrote their code. I think it was in 2018. And I got the contact information for a consultant, which I passed on to Michael. As just they're an entity, and there's more than just the one that I passed on, but they really do specific code work, and it's really all they do. It's their whole business. And so it might, when we get to that point, when you get to the point where you're ready to talk about amending the code, it might be more efficient to use a consultant like that's the only thing they do, that's their full business, than to utilize my office for that work. And so I, in conversations with the mayor and Michael, had suggested that, and I believe that they wanted to bring that to you all as well. It's not as though I can't do that work. It's just a matter of, I'm always looking for efficiencies for you all, and wanted to make sure that that was brought to you all as a suggestion and option.
Could I ask a clarifying question, Attorney Graves? So
Yep.
you were saying, and we would still proceed in the same manner, but that at the point we're ready for our suggestions to be looked at, we would just utilize a consultant instead of you.
Generally speaking, yes, we would need to talk to the consultant, obviously, and make sure that they were on board with that. That we would essentially probably create a procedure with them on how to proceed that would make the most sense for everyone.
Okay.
Does that not answer your question?
Yeah, I guess I just am trying to clarify, since some of us are well underway in our work.
Yep.
I guess it would have been great to have this conversation a year ago when we started, but I just want to make sure, like, we're not doing work that then is, in a sense, going to be redone.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
So the work that you're doing is not going to be redone. It's going to be saved. It's going to be built upon. It's just we can't continue to submit so much of it right now to our city attorney for budget purposes. Once we're able to allocate funding for this project, then we'll be able to take the work that you're doing and give that to a consultant. So I don't want you to think that you're doing everything for naught. That's not the case.
So can someone kind of describe to me, because we did talk about this during our last budget cycle, that we were going to engage in this. And so can someone explain to me, maybe, like, I know I've asked maybe one or two questions about mine, or one of Attorney Graves, and I got a very thorough answer. So I know it took you a while, but where are those rising costs coming from elsewhere? Because I guess I'm curious where they're coming from. Are they just coming from work we've done throughout the year that we hadn't anticipated?
I'll try to answer that, council member. I think, with me being new, there certainly has been, I've been working very closely with City Attorney Graves, and probably more so than when Anthony was here or when Marty was here. So I know I've been using City Attorney Graves quite a bit, so I'm sure that has added to the costs. And we've obviously had some other items that we've talked about during closed session and things that can contribute to that as well. But I just wanted to, I think it's my responsibility just to kind of raise this, and I just see a trend here with our costs, being up pretty dramatically. So this is something that I need to also look at myself in terms of how I'm using City Attorney Graves going forward. So I'll make sure that I'm cognizant of that as well.
Do we have like a like year-to-date spent in comparison to the percentage of the year that has passed? Like, are we beyond, like, we're 50% into the fiscal year and we've spent X percentage of the budget for this?
Well, what I can share with you, last year at this time, we had spent 42,000. And this year we're at about 75,000.
And what's that relative to the overall budgeted?
Yeah, the
line item?
overall budget is 250,000. But what I would caution you on that amount, that sounds like a lot of money, but we budgeted for certain things related to potential lawsuits. And, so
Yeah.
that's something that is lurking out there, so.
Other
So,
than the,
oh, sorry,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, other than the cost savings, is there a value add? Do they do some sort of review, or is there more to that?
Yes, Councilmember Page. They do really the comparison that is comparing our code to the city of Maplewood's code to state law and pointing out the consistencies and inconsistencies. They can sort of do a full review. They could also, or separately, do a review of our code and say, these are the areas where the law has changed since you implemented this code, and we would suggest revisions X, Y, and Z. And part of the reason I think that they would be helpful in your committee work is they can really hone in on, if you want to change something in particular, why, looking at and suggesting why it matches with state law or does not. They just have efficiencies built in since this is all they do. But yes, I think they do.
And we have a lot of
Thank you.
overarching changes that need to be made just in updating language, that something like that I think would be useful. Do we have does anyone have an understanding of what the cost is for a consultant like that? Does anyone have a ballpark?
I was told 10,000 for one firm, but I don't know. I never saw that like in writing on a website. I just got that from another attorney.
And I guess sorry, I have a lot of questions. Would we be able to like get that process started so we have it in place so that we're not delaying further? Because we have significantly delayed this process longer than we wanted to. And so I guess my hope would be could just get it set up so we're not delaying further.
I agree with Councilmember Schmidt. It sounds like this is something that we need to get in place sooner rather than later. As someone who's already had their second meeting and realized kind of, what we're up against just in terms of if we do want to make changes, what is legal and what isn't, and what goes, what can we change and what's that process? We're very much at the point of needing expert guidance real soon.
You can still do that work, I guess. So Councilmember Phillips, you can still have those conversations. Your committee can still say, okay, we would like to change this. It just wouldn't go into effect right now because you wouldn't have Attorney Graves' eyes on it. It like Councilmember Schmidt said, it is going to have to wait. So yeah, I agree with Councilmember Schmidt. Wait as far as being enforced, like it's as far as being an official change or your ordinance being enacted. But you can still do that work right now. And yes, to give a +1 to Councilmember Schmidt, what she said, it does behoove us to try to start the process now and then also look at our budget and make sure that we can budget this in.
Well, I would like to clarify, like, I don't want to wait until, like, for instance, on the Parks Committee, like ours is fairly straightforward and we already have sort of a model. And I think that work is going to move really quickly. And to me, there's no, like, if the cost is minimal for someone to look at that section, like, I don't think there's a need to wait. If we have, I would think that we could come up with $5,000 to $10,000 in our budget. We purposely chose a smaller number of ordinances to keep the costs spread out, right? So that we weren't incurring a large cost at once. So I guess I don't want to have to wait until July for some of these ordinances to pass. So that's why I was curious what the cost was and if it's significantly cheaper and we're only doing a few sections, I guess.
Yeah.
And I, to Councilmember Phillips' point, I think what she's getting at is that, especially with some of ours, like zoning, and we have criminal offenses, like there are a lot of state statutes that govern those. And so, you know, that was my question I asked Attorney Graves, is like, we don't want to start doing work that we can't change. So like, that's something you want up front, so you're not wasting a bunch of time researching and changing something you can't change, I guess.
I mean, there are 110 pages of zoning ordinances. So to avoid the things that we can't change and to really be able to focus our efforts would be helpful.
I appreciate Mr. Reese telling us. I mean, I think he's really like the canary in the coal mine regarding this. If he's telling us that, you know, we need to slow down and you all want to pick and choose what we do until we get enough money budget to cover all of this, then I support that. I'm just really letting you all know I support what Mr. Reese is telling us, which is that we are running up against a budget for our attorney and we need to find other ways. And I don't know if we have that in our budget anywhere else.
So what I can do after hearing this conversation, thank you everyone for your thoughts. Why don't I cast the net and see how much money we're talking here? And I can report back at the next meeting, hopefully, and see where we are. I don't want to look at a hypothetical without knowing what we're talking about here. We can be much more informed about how to pivot, and if that's acceptable.
Yeah, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Sounds great.
I think another thing that I'd be interested in is like the sort of division of labor that's happening. So like what departments or functions are eating up the bulk of the time, right? So like we've only just started ordinance committees maybe in the last like month or so. So something has happened before that to get us to this point, right? So like, for example, if I'm calling Attorney Graves 10 times a week, like that's something I should stop, right? And so if we could figure out kind of what other city practices are ongoing that are contributing to this increase, that might help us with like a more comprehensive strategy for reducing costs.
Thank you. That's a good point. Thank you. That's all I have on that. Well, I think Councilmember Phillips, did you want to report out on your committee?
Yeah, just briefly, I'll let everyone know that we did have our second meeting on Monday, yesterday evening. And so we are moving forward and looking in more detail at the residential zoning. We started with that section. And as I mentioned earlier, we're at that point already where we have a lot of questions. We are hoping, I just sent an email to Mr. Reese, and we're hoping that our zoning administrator, Anthony Traxler, will be able to join us at our next meeting so that we can certainly rely on his expertise and have some questions in advance for him, and then some questions hopefully if he's able to attend. So so that's our plan. Our next meeting is February 14th, and that is also again a Monday night at 5:30 p.m. via Zoom. And of course, everyone is welcome to attend that committee meeting.
Councilmember Phillips, I did forward that to Anthony already, so I'm sure he'll get back to you.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that.
I do have a report on our meeting for Parks and Recreation. We did meet last night at 7:30 by Zoom, of course, and we discussed our purpose and goals. It was our first meeting, so we discussed how we'd like to proceed, and we all quickly acknowledged that there's one chapter of the ordinance that hasn't been reviewed or updated or touched, I don't think forever. And it was like had things in it that I don't know why they were ever there in the first place. So it was really easy to go through this large chapter and figure out, what we need to change. So it was kind of straightforward, and we did have lots of, we did review it, and we had a lot of good ideas. And so we discussed how we're going to move forward, and then we scheduled our next meeting at February the 15th at 7:30. So that's.
And I had one follow-up question on that. It's a procedural. So we had discussed meeting if we're going to use a Google Doc to comment, that it needs to be posted on the city's website. And so we actually already have one for parks that we would like to post. And I just wanted to throw that out there. If someone just sort of could figure out the logistics of like who we're supposed to give it to and that's that sort of thing.
Can you get it to me? Can you get it to me, Councilmember?
Yes. Yeah. And then I just wanted to announce that my committee for Chapter 34 offenses, we're having our second meeting this Saturday, January 15th at 9 a.m. So.
All right, I believe that is all of the reports. Madam Clerk, item number 13.
Council communication.
Real quick update on the in-person meetings at the council chambers. I figured out that the reason why we've been having audio issues is that room is already mic'd, and I was unaware of it. So the microphones were fighting each other. So once I got rid of our microphones, everything worked fine during our testing. So I'm going Friday after work. The tech company put in a cable so that we can take the audio from the Zoom meeting and put it over the speakers in City Hall. So once that's kind of tested and done, when we go back to in-person meetings, everything should be good. So, but anyway, I just wanted to bring you up to date. I couldn't believe that it was mic'd, and we have been fighting that the entire time. So anyway, that's what you get for having a council member do your sound.
Thank you for all your work.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, so I had the distinct pleasure of zooming into the middle school Blue Devils civics class last Thursday. They are working on projects for their finals. And I know, I don't want to spoil anything because I know they are going to be presenting this Thursday to city managers and mayors of Maplewood and Richmond Heights. But they had the opportunity to ask me some questions about their projects. They were tasked with identifying a problem in the community and coming up with a solution. And so it was really, you guys, their ideas were amazing. I can't wait to hear a report back on their final projects, but I think it'd be great to discuss because they had some great ideas for us. So I just wanted to share that. And I look forward to hearing how their presentations go.
Nice.
Just quickly, I wanted to thank City Manager Reese for joining a We Below Cub Scout meeting to learn about civics and City Hall and how city government works. It's not easy to keep the attention of 8-10-year-olds, but they were asking good questions. I was really impressed. So thank you. That was well received. Thanks.
You're welcome. They were very engaged.
Thank you all. Madam Clerk, item number 14.
It's the mayor's report.
First, Happy New Year to everyone. And I wanted to let you all know the seniors for Maplewood Richmond Heights are presenting their capstone projects right now. This is actually the first day. So they'll go today, tomorrow, and on Thursday. And so I just want to give a shout out to them. I believe that there were 73 seniors that submitted a capstone project to be judged. And so just want to let them know that I look forward to looking at their presentation and really excited about that, and just congratulations. And then also get your flu shot if you are so inclined, get your booster if you're so inclined. I don't want anybody getting upset with me, but if you're so inclined, that's why I'm putting that there. And if you are not vaccinated, I hope that you would be so inclined to become vaccinated, so we can make sure that you get to stay around and be with us a bit longer. So that is it. That concludes my report. Please stay safe and healthy, and wash your hands. Okay, Madam Clerk. Item number 15.
City Attorney's report.
I have nothing to report this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 16.
City Manager's report.
Yes, so I have two items. One, our new finance director, Lexi Miller, started yesterday. So I know you all have a chance to meet her very, very soon as we get geared up for the budget here. So she's hitting the ground running and doing a great job. So I wanted to let you know about that. And then secondly, Robert Haycock with ETC is ready to give a presentation to you all. I'd like to do this on January 25th, 2 weeks from tonight, at the next council meeting. I will this week, in the next couple of days, send you information on both the resident survey and the business survey and the results so that you have that. This will probably be, excuse me, this will probably be a pretty lengthy presentation that he will give, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions as well. So you should prepare yourself for that for our next meeting if everyone is comfortable with that. But we do want to bring him forward so we can learn from him about the community's priorities and how we can improve. So he will either be with us, depending on what direction we go for the next meeting. He might be with us in person, or he might be with us on Zoom. We'll coordinate that with him and his schedule. But does anybody have any questions on that? Is everyone comfortable with him coming forward for the next meeting?
Would this be like, at what time were you thinking for his presentation?
You know, I'm not sure, council member. We would it would be relatively early on, I think, in the agenda. But
Oh, it'll be part of the agenda. I thought maybe it would be. It would.
I was planning just to have it as part of the regular meeting.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
If that's acceptable.
Sure. Yeah. I was just curious if it was going to be separate or part of the meeting.
Yeah.
Just gonna quickly advocate for virtual, especially if they're traveling from
Sure.
out of state.
Sure.
Just, yeah.
That's good. Thank you. Appreciate that feedback.
And you mentioned that we'll receive the report in advance of the presentation so that we'll have time to review it.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure you get it this week. So you have, 10, 11 days, 12 days to review it. So yeah, you'll have it this week.
Great, thank you.
It's a lot of information, but yeah, I think it'll be very helpful for all of us. So.
Do you know how many residents did the survey? Do you have that number?
I should have that ready. I don't have that.
That's okay.
We did far surpass what our goal was.
Well, I thought the goal was 300 or something for residents.
I think it was over 400, council member.
Wow.
And then with businesses, I'm pretty sure it was over 400. With businesses, our target was 50, and I think we had 53 that responded businesses.
Oh, good, good.
Okay. That's all I have in my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item number 17.
Public forum.
At this time, the public is welcome to provide a comment. Please raise your Zoom hand and Mr. Reese will call on you.
Yes, is it Mr. Owens? Mr. or Miss Owens?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Asia Owens, and I'm here representing Congresswoman Cori Bush's office. I just wanted to just introduce myself and say that if it's anything the city needs, that our office is available. I think I don't know if it was a chat. I think I left my information in the chat, but I just wanted to introduce myself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Ms. Owens. I had the pleasure of meeting you last year, sometime in October.
Yeah, at Shayna's event.
Yes, yes, yes. So yes, thank you for joining us this evening, and please relay our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Representative Bush. We appreciate her. Forgive me, I won't speak on behalf of the council. I appreciate her immensely. And I appreciate you joining us this evening, and I will definitely be in contact with you soon.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Knapper, there are no more hands.
All right, thank you. In just a moment. May I have a motion to hold a closed session?
Motion to hold a closed session to discuss matters related to litigation, legal actions, and or communication from the city attorney as provided for in section 610.021 subsection 1 of the Missouri Revised Statutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All right. I would like to let the public know that we will not return from this closed session. So thank you for joining us this evening.
We
All
do need a
right.
roll call for the.
I
closed
know,
session.
thank you. I'm still in
Sorry.
discussion. I got this. Thank you. All right. May I please have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Crossley,
Yes.
Councilmember Fockingham,
Yes.
Mayor Knapper,
Yes.
Councilmember Page,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips,
Yes,
Councilmember Schmidt,
Yes.
Councilmember Wood.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. Thank you again for joining us this evening, and we will hopefully see you all in 2 weeks.